Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Mardek, and we are back in MORIC's battleship, and we have seen some new dromas, some security orbs, some people that have been stunning us a lot, and we are back in the action here. As for who we ought to take out first here, I mean, of course, the security orb has already gone, so maybe the dromas are who we should target next. So, let's use some lightning bolts here, and I think we established that Emila probably can take them out in one hit, only just barely, if she goes after one at a time. As for Dugan, he does not have an earth attack, so I'm not sure if he's going to be able to take out a Droma here. Let's give it a shot. Oh, if I had hit the reaction, I probably could have. There you see Vern getting stunned by the paralysis, unable to go that turn. Unfortunate. Now, these guys have been pretty good in the way of giving us powerful items to drop at the end, including motion potions, so although those were scarce a while ago, it might be possible at this point to start to stockpile them a bit. And there you have it. Holy water as well also fell under that category not so long ago. So, let's make sure we get the chance to use one of those on her. And we did put the belt of movement on a couple of people here, both Dugan and Emila. I'm not sure that either of them are actually working on locomotion right now. Emila appears as though she may be. Dugan, maybe not. I'm assuming that's because he didn't have the RP to make it happen. Yeah, unfortunately, if he's using resist water, then he just barely cannot manage to put on locomotion as well. Although, if he levels up one more time, he might be able to. And we'll make our way back through the battleship. Let's take a quick look at the map here and see that we actually are right in front of the door at the moment, into what I assume would be the next area in said battleship. However, there are still 5 chests remaining, so let's make sure we get to those. And there's an area in the middle here. Aloha. MORIC, are you speaking over the intercom? Yes, MORIC, that's me. Me. I'm MORIC. I'm a necromancer. Yes. I'll necromance you, Roha. You festering, lighter, you're... Yes, your robe, your words. You hurt me, Roha. My body. Yes, you broke it. I had to do a soul transfer. Yes, a soul transfer. So humiliating. MORIC, I fear the transfer didn't go as well for you as it did for me. You appear to have lost your mind. My mind? My mind? My mind? Yes, I had one of those, a mind. My mind. Once I did. I do. Yes, you broke that too. You're forever breaking my things, Roha. You're a bully, Roha. Yes, I would wager that you don't recall the times you annihilated my spellbooks, my regents, Roha. Spoke against me all the time, Roha. Back in the days. The young days. You've done me harm. Yes, so much harm, Roha. So much harm. And now look. Yes, look what you've done. You. Yes, you. Blistering, blighty blight. Snow, crag, night, died, hurt all over. I cannot think. MORIC, maybe I can help you. I am a healer, after all. Perhaps I can save you from the violet crystal's influence. Restore your mind to its former glory? Maybe I can show you how monstrous our order has become. We can save the galaxy together, if only you let me aid you. Save? Save the galaxy? No. Yes, you... would save me. The us, the galaxy, so self-righteous you always are, Rohan. Yes, you're always right. Always right. No, yes, I was always wrong. You always thought I was wrong. Wrong. Yes. I'll kill you, Rohan. Yes. Come to me. Come to me. MORIC. He's lost his mind. That was painful to listen to. In this state, who knows what he's capable of? We have to go to the bridge and stop him as quickly as we can. Come on. Okay. Actually, that was not what I meant to do. I did not realize we could teleport through there. We could save here. In fact, let's do that. I'm really hoping that we can teleport back the other way. Okay. Ooh, thank goodness. For a second there, I thought we were going to miss the other half of this area. And perhaps, well, we'll see if we can go through that door later. I want to make sure that we're guaranteeing that we can pick up all the loot in the other chests, and of course also running into the occasional Droma here and there. And so we were seeing earlier that Emmela only just barely can take these guys out, so I deliberately did not target the Droma with the most HP. On that occasion, could have ultimately gone for the one with the most HP, but 20/20 hindsight. So, Dugan, I think we established, if we hit the reactions, is also extremely close. Burn is no longer paralyzed, so take your pick here. I think we'll continue to test as to who is capable of one-shotting these guys, and the answer is not necessarily anyone. Now, Emmela did, but on some occasions I think has failed to do so. Mardek, you do potentially have the strongest sword right now, actually. So we'll go with the one that has the most HP. Okay, so you did succeed there. And we did also restore MP when we made it to that safe crystal, so it's not urgent that we leech mana or anything like that, so that was actually quite useful that we picked that up when we did. Accidental as it may have been. Continue to stockpile the holy water. That's quite alright. Emmela did master Bright Eyes, and we're looking back here. She did have locomotion also working on... Yeah, she was also working on locomotion. So it's not like we can unallocate Bright Eyes and then suddenly that makes a huge difference and makes it possible for us to work on locomotion. So we could unallocate Bright Eyes and put something else on instead. Is there anything else that it seems like has been particularly common in here? Paralysis, definitely. Haven't seen much in the way of poison, sleep, or blind for that matter. Nor have we seen much in the way of zombification at all. Let's throw that on. If we haven't seen it yet, then maybe that means that we're going to run into it soon. I'm assuming there's something over in this corner, perhaps. Oh, actually, pretty sure those were two chests right next to each other. They were. Except they're guarded, kind of, sort of, in a way. Alright, there's defense.exe again. And so that might mean that it is best to hold off attacking that security orb until we do manage to break those barriers. In which case, we could deliberately take out a zombie here, and actually flame is the way to go against them, if I remember correctly. So one down. Typically, they aren't too difficult to take care of, so doing that with Emmela when she's potentially one of our hardest-hitting allies at the moment is maybe not the best, but okay. Vern can take out the security orb. That's good. Mardek, I'm assuming you can take out the zombie. No big deal. Okay. More motion potions. We will need them. That much is apparent. As for these chests, even more motion potions. Probably going to want to split those up a little bit, because we did put a large stack on... Who was it? Looks like Dugan. So let's just redistribute a bit here. Give some to Emmela. Give some to Vern. 4, 4, 5. Let's give 1 to Mardek as well. Oop, there we go. Okay, now they're relatively evenly distributed. And I think there's still at least a couple more, 3 more chests in here. Oh, actually, did we walk right by this one? We may have. In theory, we already went to that area. So we might double back a little bit for that. Could also deliberately bump into some Dromas here. Oi! You're an intruder! That means I have to go into defense mode and kill you. Oh, and going after Dugan, who we did not ultimately manage to master any magic defensive reactions on, unfortunately. So he did take full damage there. Now the Droma does go next, so I suppose we could deliberately target it here. It's tempting to go after the security orbs because they did not put up any of those defensive barriers. However, we can also take them out in one hit with our physical attackers. We have established as much. And Mardek is one of 2 people at the moment who is not capable of resisting paralysis. So imagine how often we'd be getting it if we did not have 2 people who were using the belt of movement. Let's make sure that we take one of these. And as often as we're getting them, we are also burning through them relatively quickly. Phoenix Downs, getting a ton of those. Seems like we've gotten probably 5 already, something like that in this area, between the chests, and I think some of the enemies might have even dropped some too. Those are also very helpful. And yes, it seems like maybe it's just, I'm noticing it when we actually do get stunned, but seemingly all of the abilities that can stun happen to target the people we have who are not currently resistant to paralysis. So Vern and Mardek, I'm sorry. At some point, if mostly Emla, does manage to master locomotion, then in that case, we might be able to pass it over to one of you. One of them does have a shield on. Might that make that a little tricky? Does that make it worth breaking the barrier on him or not? Let's give it a shot. Oh, that's not gonna help though. That's definitely not gonna help. We actually haven't even mastered Green Lightning yet on Vern, which was something we were saying earlier that theoretically would not be a bad thing to master so that we could put a different miscellaneous item on him. And hold on, let's look at the order here. Okay, we shouldn't do it now because theoretically if Vern and Mardek were each capable of taking one of the orbs out on their turn, then we could avoid taking damage again. So success there, taking out the shield with one. Probably should have had Mardek go after that one because I think we've established that with normal attacks, Mardek actually does have more damage here. And there's confirmation that we are definitely still getting more Phoenix Downs here. So in some ways, you could, not that we can go back down to Canonia or Goznor and sell those Phoenix Downs, but they are quite valuable. So theoretically, you could deliberately farm them up a bit here. In addition to, I assume that with this being one of the last areas in Chapter 2, that minor spoilers, I suppose, but, you knew that was the case, I assume, given how we were talking earlier about how this is the point of no return. This would probably be a decent place to level up as well. I mean, you can't pick up more gear afterwards, so you can't purchase anything, and therefore you need to have all the stuff that you might want to use long term, but if it's purely just experience, then that is still possible to do here. Does everyone have 4 motion potions? That does seem to be the case. I was going to say we could potentially deliberately use one from the person who has the most of them, but that is not really a factor here. And as for where... Oh, again, we went past one of the chests. They're sneaking right by me. So down here? Yes. Oh. More security orbs. This time, finally going after one of our characters that does have the resistance to paralysis. I do appreciate that. Have we established if we can one-shot the security orbs when they have a shield on with Emla? I'm not sure if we have. Again, I think that was pretty close. In fact, if we had done that against this security orb here that had more HP, then I don't think we would have pulled it off. So a lot of people that are just barely missing or just barely having enough damage to one-shot. It's right on the cusp. Except for the security orbs when they do not have the shields on. That should be fine. And the zombies. It's mostly the Dromas and the security orbs when they do have the shields. So here we should be pretty good. Zombies will technically go next for the security orbs, given how the security orb already had its turn. I suppose it doesn't really matter when zombies are last and security orbs are first, so they're really back-to-back. But anyways, this might also theoretically be a situation in which we would be willing to use Green Lightning. Now it's not going to take either of these guys out, I don't think. However, I'm not too concerned about the zombie hitting us. I am concerned about the security orb hitting us. So we'll take care of the security orb, and the zombie will hit us for a little bit of damage, but shouldn't be a huge deal. Can even take this opportunity to leech a little bit of mana. Does Dugan have anything he needs? No, he's mastered all of his primary skills. I think he does have an offensive reaction that he's working on. However, at the moment, I'm going to pass and deliberately give Vern a little more time to work on that green lightning. And some people, I think, do still have physical reactions that they're trying to work on as well. Deliberately not going to hit this guy with an attack with Emla, because we have our fair share of MP, so it's not urgent that we leech any. And it just means, potentially, one more hit that we can get in with Vern. Like, if we had attacked with Emla, probably would have killed the zombie right there. And it's hard at this stage, given how we can't go back to any weak areas, to find enemies that are not terribly threatening, that aren't going to hit us with status effects. So this is probably as good as it gets in terms of having battles in which we can still master some of our skills. And so, all the more reason for us to deliberately make a point of it there. You could make a pretty strong case that it is a little bit too little too late, but it is still possible. This is a magical crystal, used to power the ship. There are 6 of them, forming a kind of giant magical circle, like those that wizards on your world sometimes use. This whole crystal is round because it's built around the magic circle. They're imitations of true planetary elemental crystals, basically just pure magic, in physical form. It will be a long time before the people of Belfam have anything nearly as powerful as this. I'm awed by our own greatness sometimes, I really am. Now, we did check one of these out earlier, and Rohoff made this comment. However, I did want to note, pay very close attention to the way that certain people are talking in this area. You'll notice that certainly, oh, and I skipped a little bit of it, but we are in a stressful environment, and it is pushing some people on edge, and some of what people are saying, I think, could be kind of telling. So if people seem a little bit different, well, maybe there's something to that. So, the security orbs, 2 of them, did shield up there. We deliberately attacked the one that did not shield. I think Emla did 120-ish damage when she attacked one of the shielded orbs earlier. I'm sure she's going to do way more than that this time and make me look silly. Oh, I meant to attack the one that was not shielded for that very reason. Well, she's consistent. We can give her that. I, however, apparently did not target the right one. Okay. Burn, on this occasion, I think, unfortunately, we cannot necessarily take this opportunity to use any more green lightnings. Ooh, that is an unfortunate time for Mardek to not take his turn because of paralysis. And we actually see, for one of the first times here, an enemy using regeneration. I mean, it healed, yes, but also that does mean that it will heal more automatically on each turn without even needing to spend a turn doing that. So we did get the degeneration ability on the Shadow Blade sword that we saw previously. We didn't get the chance to master it. It takes something like 40 uses in order to master it. And so theoretically that would have been another thing that we could have considered doing. We opted not to. But in that instance, if we hadn't taken it out in one hit, then that might have been a factor. And on that occasion, we got, both an offensive reaction, and we also got a motion potion. I was about to say that it was a way for us to get out ahead of it, gain a motion potion when we didn't have to use one. However, Mardek did, of course, get paralyzed there too, so not so much. Okay, so now we just have one chest remaining, and it is that one over on the right side that I was saying we kind of missed earlier. I'm assuming that we walked right past this, although we may have just not quite gone in this direction. And lots of dromas. I think the security orbs are maybe the most difficult, so this might be a bit of a welcome sight here. I'm going to target the one with the most HP. Okay. Emla, more than capable of taking it out. Good to see. As for Dugan, I think we'll just go with a normal attack, and this was another person who was very close to being able to one-shot. He was able to that time. I think he does have more damage than Vern, though. Vern might actually be the lowest, at least when he's using this sword here. Yeah, he was not able to. Tried to attack the drummer with the least HP for that reason. Oh, poison, really? I did not remember that they could inflict poison. Interesting. Very interesting. Now, theoretically, we could have deliberately taken that opportunity with Mardek to heal off the poison with Remove Taint. Vern is actually not looking great here. He's taken a few hits on roughly half HP. So either way, we should definitely pay a little closer attention to Vern at the end of this battle. Make sure that we take the time to get rid of that poison, and also probably just do a generic heal. But at least for now, he'll be fine. We'll have some time to do that. More holy water, sure thing. And now we're starting to rack up all the passive skill masteries, so that's good. It does mean that we might be able to swap some gear around here. So let's use Remove Taint before we forget. And also probably a heal. Okay, nice. Back up to full HP. So, we just double check here. I think it was Emila mastering Locomotion. So if we can get that on someone else, then that would of course mean that we could also have another person immune to paralysis for a little bit, and that would certainly help in terms of making it so that we don't have to use a motion potion after the end of every battle. Maybe then we would actually, on net, be gaining them. It's close now. We might be gaining them a little bit faster than we're spending them, but hard to tell. So, that means we can move this off of Emla and onto... who would we like to put it on? I think ideally it would be, once Vern masters Green Lightning, could replace the Yelordian Amulet with the Belt of Movement. However, Dugan already has one. That would mean the other alternative would be Mardek, who also has not yet mastered the Fire Pendant Magic Fire defensive reaction, even though I'm pretty sure he's been equipping this for all of eternity. So, he has finished the Moonstone Ring. So maybe that's reason enough. Oh, and he did also start working on Locomotion. Okay. So I think that's fine then, in that case, to use Locomotion on Mardek and, well, or at least equip the item. It will give him immunity to paralysis just by equipping it. And we don't necessarily need Locomotion. It would be helpful, because that would mean that we wouldn't have to always have Mardek equipping the item. We could put something else on instead and make sure we allocate the passive. But I think we'll be fine here. And the last chest, I think we established, is here? Yes, okay. It's Mogre Juice, 500 HP restoration. Let's put that on Vern. And actually, I think we could have gone in this direction and run into this, but we didn't check it out. This thing is an impassable force field. It blocks your path, obviously. So, we would have found, had we tried to go through there, that that was the most direct route to the next area on this ship. Granted, we kind of just went around anyway and ended up over there, no less, but now we'll actually go there. Now that we've made sure we picked everything up. Okay. Emila? This might be another scenario where I think we're going to target the security orbs. We're going to leave one zombie. And we're going to allow Vern to have the opportunity to use some Green Lightning. Because he is so close. So close to mastering that. And we see Mardek, who was previously going after Vern, now goes before him because he's now using the Belt of Movement, which is giving him a bunch of agility. So it is a difference maker on that front as well. Green Lightning on the zombie. And on that occasion, the zombie doesn't even deal enough damage to be threatening in the least, so that's nice to see. Gonna pass across the board here. Make sure that Vern has the chance to now do Green Lightning number 19. One more, and we'll be all set. And then we could theoretically give him a Belt of Movement. However, although Dugan is currently equipping said armor, said miscellaneous item. He's actually not working on the skill. He has not mastered it yet. So that does mean that he technically needs to continue to equip it if he wants to have access to the immunity to paralysis. So Emma's the only one who's actually mastered the skill, meaning that she doesn't need to have it. We have 2 belts. So that means 3 out of 4 people are capable of having that on at any one given point in time, unless another person masters it. So, take your pick. Who we like most, basically. The other thing is, Vern did just master some other abilities. I believe that might have been, oh, not quite the last one, from Zack's armor. Does still have the minus 20% damage. It would be great if we could swap this off. We do have the other Trilobite armor somewhere, theoretically, I believe. Here it is. It'd be great to get that on him. Could also put on Bone Mail for the purity, resistance to curses. And I'm sure other things as well. They have other chest plates that he's yet to learn the skills from. Maybe even his own? No, he's done that. Okay. So, that is something to bear in mind. Let's head back on over to that area, though, that we started to go toward. Maybe check if we can go through that other door. Not the portal in the middle, but the one that we deliberately passed up on, thinking that we wanted to make sure that we went through and got all the chests first. I suppose that was sort of the case for both the door and the portal. But in case that was not clear which one I was referring to the one that is more in the upward direction, namely right here. However, not so fast. Oh wow, that was surprisingly painful for Dugan there. And there are only 3 enemies here. So again, this could theoretically be a scenario in which there's a little bit of time in which to have someone do something, help level something up, something of that nature. However, after Vern mastered his Green Lightning, I think that's no longer as necessary. Oh, and we could swap over his amulet to something else now, which is something we were saying we probably would want to do. So that seems like it's probably of interest. This is the door I was referring to. However, the escape pod room is locked. Potentially a way out? We'd have to see. Now, before I forget, though, let's think about what we could potentially use in this place. We were using the Elordian Amulet. Vern has mastered Green Lightning. It has okay defense and magic defense. Little bit of dark resistance, and the Spirit is not bad either. But is there something we'd rather put here? Something that could potentially give him access to additional abilities? Plus 10% MP, maybe? Or other status immunities? I think he has very few, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Immunity to blindness and sleep. That could be a good reason to have access to paralysis immunity, locomotion. So, although we had Mardek equipping this ever so briefly, I think it is better to have Vern use it because he actually has reason to spend RP on locomotion, whereas Mardek is a little bit all-consumed with Resist Earth at the moment. So, that then asks the question as to what Mardek puts there. And Body Crystal is okay in terms of a little bit of resistance to status effects. That's not bad. A little bit of life, both in the vitality and flat HP front. The defense is nothing special. So it's a little bit versatile, but it's not the best at anything. I wonder, though, might we have other alternatives that are more attractive to us at this point in time? Snakestone, we did see that the Dromas are actually capable of inflicting poison. Is that reason enough to use this here? Probably not. I'd say we should probably pass on that. We were using the green beads previously on some people as a bit of a placeholder because it has a little bit of resist earth, and we, of course, are running into our fair share of earth enemies here. And the 4 magic defense is a lot, specifically on the magic side of things. Mardek actually has the lowest magic defense out of anyone at the moment. Only 2 compared to Dugan's 3, Vern's 3, and Emla's all the way up to 10. So that might be a reason to use these. That's a bit tempting to me at the moment. Other than that, not much on Vern's side here, unless we use the Lapis Lily, mostly for the water resistance or the resistance to silence and curse. Those are all nice things. I think I've convinced myself, however, to go with the green beads. Also, bear in mind, Mardek is currently using the Geo Jacket with the Resist Earth ability, and is also now equipping the green beads for additional 20% Earth resistance. Pretty sure that means he's going to be very close to the maximum Earth resistance, which would be 200%. So if he does get hit by Earth damage, he is healing a bunch. Which is probably overkill. However, we'll do it anyway. We'll save up here. And I think this is probably a good place for us to wrap up. Because if we look at our map, we'll find there's something over here. And usually, the green is an indication of some kind of NPC, someone we can talk to, so who that might be on a battleship like this, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. I'll catch you next time.